All right, folks, let's do this. Hello, hello. It's Darlene with Featherweight Doctor. How's everybody doing tonight? It's Monday. Monday after a major holiday, I might add, which makes it like at least twice the Monday. I mean, it's it's been twice the Monday, folks. How's everybody doing? Did everybody have a good Easter? We had a weird Easter at my household. My husband and I are, well, we're kind of younger empty nesters. Our kids, we had our kids as kids. And so this was our first Easter where we were kidless, which was weird. Uh, we didn't do any egg hunts. There was no nothing. We had a bonfire and some wine with some friends. That was, is that how you guys do this? Is that how you get by major holidays? It was strange. Ray is going to be back this week. Good Lord, Reagan is going to be back this week. I have missed her horribly. Not only because she works shoulder to shoulder with me, and this company does not run like the well-oiled cog that it normally is without her, but because she's my buddy, and my buddy's been gone for a week. She is I think I don't think she's as looking forward to coming home as I am looking forward for her to come home. Um, Probably not at all, actually. She's like, I'm just going to stay with grandma. That's fine. She's not a cold weather gal. She really likes the desert. She likes the heat. So, anyway, that's the update. Ray will be home, thank goodness, on Wednesday. This, what else is going on? Oh, you guys listen to me. I asked for some questions to be able to answer tonight, and there was actually several of you that sent them in, and it's too much to do in one show. So Becky King was the first question in, and so she's first up. Nancy from Lake Stevens, I did get yours, and we're going to talk about that next week. The reason why I want to keep Ask the Doctor to a decent minute count tonight is because I have Odie joining me from Aurora, Oregon, Central Oregon. She is giving us a Ukraine quilt update. She's literally in her studio right now rearranging blocks to be able to show y'all the blocks that you have been making for this wonderful family. I am deeply indebted to you all for your time and your talents and your fabric. And I just know that you all are very special to me, and I just deeply appreciate you. So we're going to get to Odie in a little bit. I thought we would do the Ask the Doctor first. So I'm going to say hi to just a few friends, and then we're going to get rolling because we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Let's see. So I have Facebook up. Let me do this. So this morning, my good friend of mine here in town bought a house. And I don't know, I think it's weird how some people have, well, I don't think it's weird. I think it's always interesting to me how people have different like standards by which they are willing to live. And I've always been lucky enough to move into really clean and well-kept homes, and including the one that we just purchased in the fall was newly painted and in really great shape. My poor friend, who is meticulous, like if I am neat, she is like neat freak, like layers beyond that, moved into this house this morning, and I was one of the first people in the door to help her get started on some painting. And we spent the first 3 hours removing the garbage out of the house. They literally left clothes in the dryer. I have never seen anything like it before. It's going to be a beautiful home, and they're going to be very happy there. But wow, 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 wow. I guess I just never thought that was kind of stuff was allowed. I mean, we did when we bought our house, Scottsdale house, there was an older lady living there, and she was just physically unable to move some of the big pieces out. But she asked us first. She didn't just abandon them in the house. Okay, let me say hi to some friends. So, hi, Kat from Virginia. Sandy's on from Cali. Deb Z's on from Arizona. Pam's on from Maine. Hi, guys. Glory Ann is on. She likes her quiet, kidless house, she says. Renee is on from New York. Hi. Molly's on from East Kentucky. Second honeymoon time. I'm not going to lie. We've enjoyed having the house to ourselves. But I'm ready for her to come back. Polly's on. Missy's on from Redmond. Denise is on. Hi, evil twin sister Denise. And okay, let me get to... Let's see. Angel's on from Houston. Debbie's on from Kentucky. Becky's on. Becky, I'm answering your question tonight, my dear. Kathy's on from East Texas. Gwen is on from Minnesota. Angel said extended my holiday weekend. Nice. So you didn't have a Monday today. You are lucky. Cindy's on from snowy, rainy Michigan. Y'all, by the way, we got snow on Easter. Where in the HE double hockey sticks did I move? It is not cool. Not cool at all. Kim's on from Manitoba. Nancy's on from Lake Stevens. Beth's on from Minnesota. Hi, sweetheart. Kathleen is on from Montana. Judy's on. Judy's home from the hospital, just in case anybody wants to know. I actually texted with her today. Yesterday was a good day. Today was a little bit rough of a day, she said. She goes back to the doctor tomorrow to make sure that her wound is still healing. That's good. Bonnie's on from Illinois. Pauline's on from Texas. Let's see. Franny's on. Teresa's on. Marsha's on. Kathy's on from SoCal. Okay, Odie is... She said there's so many blocks. She's still putting blocks up on the wall. Hi, Karen from Ohio. Let's see here. Sandy's on from New Hampshire. Jennifer, is on the road back to Reno. Hi, Sweet Pea. Bernadette's on from Canada. Shirley's on. Hello, hello. Let's see. What? Franny says, Dad, his name is George, doesn't remember me. He's in his 90s, but he remembers seeing you, that gal who likes to sew like I do. Oh my gosh. Hi, George. Thanks for watching over Franny's shoulder. Melanie from Georgia's on. Let's see here. Okay, and Lucy's on. Hi, Lucy from Midland, Texas. All right. Woo. Welcome, tribe. Welcome. We have a lot of stuff to cover tonight. So let's get to it. So tonight's question, yes, I saw that, Melanie, that you're moving to Central Alabama. I have to make that mental move in my brain, so I'm not saying you're from Georgia anymore. All right. Oh, and Connie's on from Tucson, Arizona. Hi, Connie. Thanks for joining us. So tonight, long-term tribe member Becky King messaged me. She needed a refresher course on tensioning, doing the quick tension method. I can talk tonight, I promise, for the upper assembly. It's one of Mr. McCollum's, it's one of his bits that he talks about in his book about how to quick tension your assembly if you're feeling like you're either... The most common complaint I get about upper thread tension is that they'll move the dial around, but nothing will happen. And that's a very quick and easy fix, so don't worry. If you get lost during this demonstration, there's a full diagram and explanation in Mr. McCollum's book, The Featherweight and I, which is I have a big supply now, big stock. So if you do not own a piece of the legend and his legacy, totally advise that. I'm going to set up my other camera here, and I just realized that I needed a darker thread color because you guys are not going to be able to see this. So let's start with the upper thread. Hi, Kathy's okay. It's okay if you're late. Let's start with the upper thread reassemble here first. So I'm going to turn my machine around. I have a beautiful Centennial with me tonight. She is part of the orphanage. Let me go to my other camera. Okay, so here she is, 1951 Centennial. Here's the upper tension assembly that we're talking about. So I might have to scoochie this up here. Okay, so here is the problem. There's a lot of bits, pieces, and parts in here. Hi, Molly from Spokane. Hi, Jan from Ohio. And they all have to be in the right order, and then there also has to be set to the right tension. So what we're going to do is we're going to disassemble this, and I'm going to, no one panic, I know what I'm doing. And how you do that is you're going to push this number dial back and you're going to scoot the nut off right here. Okay, so that comes off. I'm going to put this here. The numbers dial here is the culprit, by the way. If you're, see how that pin, it points either in or out of the machine. It's supposed to point towards you. So this, if you ever have a machine and you're moving the tension dial and nothing is happening, 9 times out of 10, this is turned around backwards and not pointing the right way. So therefore you're screwing the nut tighter, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and nothing's happening because this little pin isn't seated in one of these little holes. So this comes out, this spring comes out, that comes out, and then here we go. Here is the whole assembly. No one panic. Okay, so let's look at the parts here. So we have the take-up spring here. We've got 2 tension plates. It's never a bad idea when you have this apart to take a few moments and polish up these tension plates. Hi, Lisa. Oh, you're waiting in the Vegas airport to come home? Hi, Sunny. Thanks for tuning in. So these are the tension plates. They need to be clean of debris. If polishing it with a soft cloth doesn't do the trick, then they can be soaked in naphtha if they have grime and ickiness on them. So don't feel bad about trying that. I call these the hamburger buns. It's important when you're putting your thread through the assembly that they thread through the center of the hamburger buns. So this is how it stacks. Are you guys ready? So I have the hamburger buns or tension plates put together, and I'm going to put it in its little cover. And then the spring goes around the back where you have the deep part of it going back into the machine. And then the take-up spring sits kind of to around 7 o'clock. So now I'm going to go on to the knob here, like so. Sorry, guys, my thing dropped. Okay. So now this is sitting right around 7 o'clock. Oop, let me pick it up. Sorry. Like so. The reason why you seat it at 7 is so when you pick it up over its little notch, it actually has some springy action to it. Then the plus minus dealy bob, I know it has a technical name. Someone's going to give me some garbage about this on YouTube later. Bet me money. Peggy Morrison. She goes, this makes me so nervous. I need to take a sip. Okay. Next goes the little spring. This is all very grimy. I'm going to just wipe this down. The spring goes pointed into the machine. Like this. Then the infamous little tiny pin that needs to be pointed out goes like that. Now, here's the big deal. This number thing goes with the 2 in the 12 o'clock position like that. And as I'm holding it on, I'm going to reseat this nut. Now, I want to make a couple turns, and then I'm going to open it all the way up to where 0 is on the top. Now we start our quick tensioning test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a thread, and I have my thread stand, but I'm going to run my thread through the hook, through the hamburger buns, which is the tension plate, through the take-up spring, and through the take-up lever like that. That's all we're going to do. This is called the quick tension method. It's Mr. McCollum's method for how to tension your upper tension assembly right. I'm going to put my presser foot down so that my tension, if the presser foot is up, your tension isn't engaged. So we have to put our presser foot down so our tension is engaged. And now I'm going to pull. At zero tension, I should have slight resistance. And I'd say I have slight resistance. So now, if I didn't have any resistance, I would push all of this back in and tight, righty-tighty this knob even more. Or if I had too much tension, I'd push it all back and go to the left. But I would say this is really good light tension. So now I'm gonna put the assembly to between the 3 and the 4. This is where your assembly should sit for regular sewing. And I'm going to pull again and just make sure that I have increased tension. Again, if I had that pin in backwards, I probably wouldn't feel any difference at all. Now I'm going to sew and actually test my tension. So let me push this back here, put this right here. I'm going to give myself some power. And I am going to use white thread because the bobbin thread is a different color. When doing this exercise, it's really a good idea to make sure that you have different color threads on the top and the bottom, so you can tell if the tension is out. I know, Sandy, if you just keep refreshing, hi Myra, I'll come back up because I noticed the same thing on my end. Okay, let me grab, I forgot fabric. Hold on, I need fabric and scissors. Okay, I'm going to grab some dark fabric because I need to see my stitches really well. All I'm going to do is make some stitch lines here just to make sure that that my tension is good, and if it's not, I'll show you how to adjust. Okay, well, shoot, I didn't mean to get that like perfectly right off the bat. Okay, well, that was not what I was intending. I thought I was going to have to do a little bit more. But basically, if my stitches would have not been in good balance, I would have moved this up or down based on my stitch balance. And then as soon as I had it right on the top, I would have pushed this all back in and moved my number dial back to 3 and 4. Yes, Molly, this is much more difficult on those earlier models like the Featherweight that doesn't have any numbers on them because you have no idea how far you've traveled. Yes, for sure, 100%. My husband did a video way back in the day when we had first started our YouTube channel, and ironically, he has the most views on any video on our page, but it's how to calibrate the upper tension assembly on the school bells and the pre-war machines that don't have any numbers on the dial. So if you have that machine and you want to know how to calibrate it, that's how you do it. Okay, so now back to our other lesson of the day before we go to Odie. She's still putting blocks up. This cracks me up. You guys are awesome. Okay, so this next exercise, let me see. I need to do this and this, and this. Okay, we're going to have the dual feet here. Okay, so for this next exercise, we are going to calibrate our stitch length. The reason why we calibrate our stitch length is because these machines have been taken apart and reassembled probably many times in their life, and there's no way that the numbers on your stitch regulator lever actually correspond to any real numbers. So you have to do this calibration exercise in order to make sure that you're keeping. Oh, Lucy, that's fun. She said her daughter gave her one of these blue mats for Christmas. That's awesome. They're amazing. Okay, so what you need is I made a little mini quilt sandwich. We're going to calibrate our machine to the industry standard quilted stitch length, which is 10 to 11 stitches per inch. I'm also going to show you how to do your locking stitches, which is how you secure your threads on a line of quilting beginning to end. I'm going to show you the whole procedure here all at the same time. So the first thing I'm going to have you guys do is make some horizontal markings on your little thing. I am just using, for camera purposes, a ink pen. I realize that you wouldn't obviously not use an ink pen in a real quilting scenario. So this is just for camera work. The first set of lines is going to be 1/4 of an inch apart. You can see there, it says 1/4 of an inch. The next set of lines is going to be 1 inch apart. That's 1 inch, 1/4 inch, 1 inch. And the next set of lines is going to be about 4.5 inches down. Okay, so we are going to use these 3 sets of lines. Franny. Yes, this is my classy broken ruler that works really well for these small areas here. So we're going to sew in between the lines, and we're going to make some notes on our fabric. So I'm going to mark this one as our 1 inch. So this is actually our quilted stitch length. This is our locking stitch. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to move my machine back over. I'm going to put my walking foot on, because obviously if we're trying to calibrate, we want the machine to be set up in the way that we would quilt with it. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, now that we know our balance is good based on our previous little thing, I'm going to bring my threads up. Whenever you're in the middle of quilting something, we bring our threads up. We secure our threads on the top of the sandwich. I'm going to hold my thread in my hand. I'm going to hover, pierce, and drop my walking foot and go down and up. And here is my bobbin thread has popped up. I'm going to hold the threads and secure them. Now, I'm going to move my stitch regulator lever. Let's see if I can do this a little bit. Right here, I'm going to move it up to about, not dead horizon. Dead horizon is where the machine is stitching in place. It's like this is the pitch for the free motion, for making sure your feed dogs are not messing with your thing. We don't want it stitching in place. That's just going to make an ugly little rat's nest. We want it to move forward, but we want to leave 14 to 16 stitches in this little 1/4 inch gap. So I'm gonna just count quickly here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I only got 7. So that is clearly not enough. So I'm going to go up even higher. This is why we do this exercise. Once I figure out my exact right pitch, I'm going to take a piece of blue painter's tape and I'm going to put just on the metal, not on the paint, put a piece of painter's tape in here and mark my locking stitch height. And then I'm going to use this set screw once we figure out on the stitch lever. Yes, Miss Bonnie, she wants to know if you can watch the whole video at a later time. As soon as I'm off, it is available on Facebook and YouTube on demand. You can start it over. So I'm going to move this set screw to my 10 stitches per inch. I'm going to open it up because I'm going to get it exactly at the right pitch on the up-down lever. So I'm going to start back up again at my line. I've now moved it up a little bit more to make a smaller stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, still not enough. So I'm going to keep going up. Now, see, this is why we do this exercise, because honestly, I would have thought that I was at dead horizon at this point. These things have been taken apart and reassembled 100 times, so you can't count on it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Ha ha! I'm calling it. That's the right lever. That's the right pitch. So what that means is if I had a blue piece of painter's tape, which I don't, I would come over here and I put a little tick mark right here so I know where my locking stitch is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to my set screw. I'm sure it's not set right, but I'm going to count in this 1 inch gap to see if I can get 10 to 11. That's quilted industry standard. Oh, what did I do? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to come down here, and in my 1-inch gap, I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to go down to the set screw. And again, I'm trying to get 10 to 11 stitches in this 1-inch gap. All right, I'm holding my thread so I don't make a knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I'm not quite at the line, but that's 8. Okay, clearly that is not the right thing. So I'm going to move this up. I'm going to move my set screw. I'm going to count again. The reason why we do this calibration exercise, by the way, is not to just, make ourselves crazy. It's so that we know how many stitches makes us travel exactly 1 inch. It's actually a good calculation to have in your head. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm one pass. So I'm going to keep going up. I do, when people buy machines from me, I do this exercise for them, but I realize that not everybody buys a machine from me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, still a little higher. This one should do it. We should be there with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Perfect. This is it. So I'm going to make sure my set screw is tight to my machine, and I know every time I put the machine down on that set screw, I am traveling exactly 10 stitches, which is quilted industry standard. So now I know what my locking stitch length is. I know what my quilted stitch length is. Let's put it all together. So I'm going to come up here to my locking stitch. And now that I'm counted it out, I don't have to count it out again. I can just kind of gun the machine and eyeball. Cool. 1/4 of an inch. Go down to my set screw, which is my 1/4 inch, or which is my quilted stitch length. And I'm going to quilt down. Now, before I get to the end here, I'm going to stop 1/4 of an inch because I'm going to end with those little baby locking stitches too. So therefore, I have a quilted stitch line that is secure. Do you guys see that? Beginning to end. So we have my locking stitches, regular quilted stitch length, locking stitches. And everything's in balance because we recalibrated the tension before we started. So that was a lot of information all at the same time. Thank you for hanging out with me. All right, so we are now, if you guys have any other questions like that, by the way, I don't care if I've covered it before. I really want to be a resource to you, and I, if it's something like this I haven't spoken about in quite a while, then I will definitely talk about it again. I think that this kind wow, Odie. That is so beautiful. Sorry, I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. So anyway, I love being a resource for you guys. So tonight, for those of you just joining me for the first time, we as a community, I volunteered us to do 2 quilts for a small Ukrainian refugee family that landed in the Los Angeles area a few weeks ago now. What started out as a little tiny project has grown into so much more than I thought it was going to be. And there's a couple of women, you guys are so funny. There is a couple women that have really stepped up and offered to help with the construction of the quilts. I'm completely overwhelmed with the shop and all of the shop business. And so there was no way I could construct and quilt all of the quilts. So I just want to really, when do I turn the set screw? It rides up right. When you turn the set screw, it does ride up because you want, and it also, when you unwind it, it winds down. So Lucy, you want that set screw on the take up lever to be exactly at that calibrated 10 to 11 stitches per inch. You set it exactly where it is. So anyway, I want to personally thank Mel and Odie. Odie's about to join us. Let me bring her on. Hold on. How do I do this? is. There. There she is. Hey, girl.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good, good, good. For those of you who have not met Odie, this is Odie.
Let me try.
You can't see in the camera light, but her hair is purple. She is a purple gal. She has purple walls, purple fingernails, purple cell phone case.
Waiting on the purple 222.
Right. So anyway, Odie, thank you so much for doing this. Look at all of those blocks. That is spectacular. Tell me what the count is right now.
So the count is 84.
Okay, and we only needed 64 for the queen size quilt that you're putting together. We needed 64 for the quilt Mel is going to put together. And so I think we suffice it to say we have way more than we need for the queens, especially because I know that there's still people dropping blocks in the mail. Please, if you still have not mailed, like today I kind of was asking for people to have their blocks out, and there was a couple of people that said they couldn't drop them until tomorrow. Please still send them, because what we're going to do, Odie and Mel and I have all kind of chatted, and we're going to do a lap quilt for the dad of Anna's husband and V's dad that is still in Ukraine fighting. He was not allowed to leave with them. So we are going to do another, we're going to do another quilt for him, probably just a lap quilt. So go ahead and send them. And then as soon as Odie and Mel, who is now on vacation in the Florida Keys on a dive trip, as soon as she had 50 when she left, but I knew there was more coming. So I think Mel is also going to have extra blocks, but we'll make sure that each and every one makes it in to one of the 3 quilts for this wonderful family. So anyway, she wanted to just show you guys all of your amazing work. It's hard to pick a favorite. I love how everybody's blue and yellows are a different hue, but yet they
How
all
they
just go
blend.
together. That's so cool.
Let me move
SEW,
out of the way.
so cool.
So there are, see, I put up 60. So that's 60 of them.
That's not even all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I have lots more.
Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing.
Yeah. My wall is only so, well, I should say, I could use another 2 feet at the bottom and probably would get the 8, but yeah, that's what I have.
Odie said that she had to buy a bigger design wall.
No, I had to unroll my design wall.
Oh, I thought you said you had to buy a bigger one.
Yeah, no, I keep mine on hooks, and then when I have it about this big when I'm only doing my own stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like a big flannel tablecloth, but it was out of the fabric area, so it's much wider.
Very cool.
But yeah,
Now,
that's
all of these blocks will have sashing and corner posts in between them in order to grow them out to that 90 by 90 size that we're trying to get to for the queens. But it's kind of fun to see them all kind of assembled. I see the churn dash up there. Someone did some rail fences, pinwheels. That's awesome. Polly in UK, who's cheering us on from the other side of the ocean, says holy, and then she bleeped out the there's some characters in there. Holy moly, I think she was trying to say holy moly, Odie. That's what she was trying to say. That's a lot of love blocks there. Hats off to Odie and Mel and everyone that has made some of the blocks. You are absolute legends. I could not agree more. I could not agree more. So my hope, I'm going to be cutting this week. Struggle busting with the allergies. Getting some sashing and corner posts out to Mel and Odie this week so we can actually start construction. There's border fabric also. All of the sashing and corner posts were donated by Selkirk Fabrics here in Ponderay, Idaho. Just a few minutes from me. My buddy Stephanie. The backings were donated by Mary Carnes in Abilene, Kansas. Odie and Mel are volunteering their time. I am volunteering the batting and the long arming and the finishing of the binding to get these quilts off. This was a group effort, and I will also be making a label. I think I'm gonna try and figure out my embroidery machine and make a label from all of us. I don't know if there's a way to list all of the names. I've asked. Well, I'm hoping Odie and Mel have kept like everybody's names so that I can send you guys a card. But also I would love to kind of add everybody's names to the quilts. So just so they know how many people, what kind of a team effort this was. Right, ma'am?
Yes.
Right. Yes. All right. So for those of you watching, I did send out invoices today for a quilt camp for the balance, and there was something wrong with the link that I sent out via email. It is now fixed. So if you click back into the link, it is now fixed and you will be able to pay your quilt camp balance. I'm hoping to get all of that done this week so that I can get the shirts and all the things ordered for us for quilt camp. So, yay! All right. I think that's it. I really am super thankful you were able to jump on with us today. And she had plans on Wednesday, so Wednesday wasn't going to work for our regular Ukraine update. So she was sweet enough to get on camera with us tonight. I love you, friend. Thank you so much for doing this for us. You are very special, and we are all super indebted. So, all right, friends, I'm going to sign off. Odie, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I've actually really enjoyed it, the different blocks. I have to say, I mean, I consider myself a newer quilter, but I was reminded that I really am not. I just, for some reason, don't think I have the complete skill, but here I am.
You can do it.
But
I've seen some of your work, girl.
Blocks, thanks. In some of these blocks, the block was short. So why not just frame it with, an actual frame color? And I'm like, I would have never thought of that. I mean, I've got blocks like that I just kind of just threw them in a pile. But it's amazing to me. This is one that I really like.
Someone framed it out. That was a cool idea. Yeah.
Framed that one out. This one was framed out.
Yeah. We discussed there are some blocks that came in a little short. And so we discussed that we might use those for Dad's quilt because it doesn't matter if his blocks are a little shorter. We'll just scope the quilt based on 8-inch blocks versus 8.5-inch blocks. So I think that's a great game plan, and it keeps it. I always subscribe to the antidote, keep it simple, stupid. Like, we don't need to overcomplicate this already kind of orchestrated effort. So yeah, I think that's definitely the game plan moving forward. All right, friends. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back on Wednesday at 4:00 Pacific right here on Facebook and YouTube. Mel sent me some diving pictures. I might be showing some diving pictures since Mel is definitely not quilting this week. We will be doing our work in progress show. So I'd love to have pictures sent to the email info at featherweightdoctor.com. Nancy and Lake Stevens, I will talk about your belt slipping problem on next Monday's show. Thank you for sending your question in. I appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great night, and I'll see you on Wednesday.